This episode is brought to you by my book, The Skeptical Buddha, The Tao of Science, a coffee table-style book that discusses the history of Eastern philosophy and where it complements and diverges from science and skepticism. More about this at the end of the video. Welcome to After School Democracy, the podcast that attempts to fill in the gaps you almost certainly missed in school about politics, economics, and history. After college and 4 years serving in the U.S. Navy and employed since I was 16, I walked right out into the beginning of the recession and have had constant living hell of job searching for the majority of my adult life. Of course, my parents and family members all tried to give me incredibly outdated job searching advice and just kind of viewed me as being whiny, and kids these days just need to experience the dignity of work and don't understand the value of a dollar, even though the $2 minimum wage they worked hard for in the 70s is worth around $15 an hour now, meaning they don't understand the value of a dollar. While job searching 2 years ago now, and hoping to get hired on full-time from a contractor for my current company, I got to experience the PTSD of job searching, though I was lucky I was still employed, so I didn't have the clock ticking, and my resources draining in the process. I wrote this during my job search, but didn't post until recently because of the rare chance my job was able to find out and fire me. So to celebrate Labor Day, here are the top 10 ways that for one to experience the dignity of work, one must first experience the utter abusive indignity of a job search. Number 10, unless your job has a union, the company has all the power. Starting off, companies have all the power, so unless you know how to sweet talk like crazy, you are always going to get paid less than you are worth, often for fear of rejection and desperation. They actually want this desperation for a cheap labor pool. Number 9, algorithms and computers can make filling out most applications an abusive waste of time. So next, there is the job algorithm process, which, to save the company money, often rejects candidates with transferable skills as they want people with exact skills to save them time, even if someone with transferable skills would be just as good. You can no longer go into the place to apply and show eagerness. It's a don't call us, we'll call you. So you have to fill out 50 to 75 applications, often refilling out all the information every time even though they asked for your resume, just to get one call back. Number 8, bad equality policies ensure that you're wasting your time interviewing 2/3 of the time. Thanks to half-assed equality policies, every company often has to interview 3 people, even if they essentially have already picked an internal candidate. So nearly 2/3 of all jobs are dummy job listings you're applying for so they can check a box and say their preferred candidate was best, but they tried. There are much better ways, such as name blinding, to ensure diversity, and thanks to this system, you won't just get promoted because of seniority and doing a good job. You have to go through the hiring process anytime you wish to move up into the company. Add an extra layer of this, and How Money Works released a video discussing ghost jobs, where basically they create fake jobs to pad their numbers, so 1/3 of the other jobs you're filling out might be one of these ghost jobs they created to make investors think that they're actually doing better than they are. Number 7, neurodivergents are especially hard hit. On top of all of this, so far, add any social condition, like say autism spectrum like me, your networking skills are often garbage, giving neurotypicals, or even by many studies, sociopaths, a massive leg up. Also, with social issues, you are at a serious disadvantage, asking for what you actually deserve. I always felt lazy for not dragging my ass to get myself out on the job market sooner, and now I remember why. I wasn't lazy, it was self-defense. The 6 months of job searching were nothing but anxiety and over-the-top reflux that I just hoped would end up paying off in spite of the negative impacts on my health. For the entire next year, I was depressed because my brain had just gotten used to this, while I should have been happy because on paper, things were getting better, even though inflation kind of knocked a lot of the advantage that I had out. Number 6, constant resume format and algorithm changes. Another barrier to the job market is that resume formats change drastically every few years. So if you haven't been on the job market and your resume format is wrong, you will have a much lower chance of getting a callback. As of mid-October in 2021, I had been filling out 15 applications a week for 2 months with no callback. Turns out I got a few contacts within the company, so that's how I got my interviews and finally hired on full-time. I assumed I probably would have to research the new magic formulas and phrasing to make it go through the algorithms until the contacts were able to help. Number 5, the hiring process can take months. It can take a business 4 to 6 months to pick a candidate, or just decide out of the blue they don't need that position anymore. So if you're desperate, jobless, and broke, you're up shit creek. Thankfully, I'm fully employed, or I would have been filing unemployment thanks to being underpaid for so long, thanks to living through 2 recessions. Number 4, entry-level jobs are a massive joke. Most entry-level jobs require at least 2 years' experience. Degree inflation is through the roof, so you could probably do a job advertised for a degree above you, but they won't even look at you. Number 3, desperation and abuse is the point. Because this is also abusive, hopeless, and depressing, many will take the first job offered to them at a lower wage than they deserve just to get out of this hell spiral of hopeless, degrading depression. Number 2, getting fired is hell on earth. This process also makes getting fired the worst thing that can happen, as not only do you feel awful, dumped, and worthless, now you have to face this hellscape death match all over again. And number 1, it's an abusive relationship. Add all these up, and these are all traits of abusive relationships that seek to control you, wear you down, hope you give up, and take whatever bone they throw at you. And this works as wages have been dropping over the decades. Without a union, you're always going to get screwed without good labor protections. We are going to get underpaid and robbed blind. Pressure your congresspersons and vote this election to pass the PRO Act that will overturn most of Taft-Hartley, that terrible union-killing bill that forced unions in the United States to become everything people hate about unions without getting much benefit of it. No other nation has unions like ours because they function like they're supposed to there and are actually voices for the workers, not just ways to prevent lazy bad workers from getting fired. So this is a follow-up to tell you that I finished writing this video in early 2022, but put it off till now. I accepted the new position, and now for the first time in years, I am no longer stressed out constantly about money and extreme debt. I literally got a 33% raise, and all indications show I'm still underpaid, and could have and should have asked for more. But for all the reasons mentioned, was so stressed about getting the job, and since unlike other nations with set amounts based on level of seniority, you have to guess how much you're worth based on region, and it's discouraged for you to talk to fellow employees to compare wages, even though that's illegal, so you end up walking in blindly and having to negotiate like dealing with a sleazy used car salesman. I waited yet another month until I got my first paycheck out of fear of somehow them canceling the job because I mentioned the U word in a positive light. Some people believe in an all-powerful Illuminati watching your every move, ready to ruin your life if you step out of line, unaware that the union-busting services are often exactly just like that. It took me another 2 years to finally post this, and even now I'm a bit nervous to say this till I'm more financially stable, but it needs to be said. This self-censorship that even I was subject to shows that the fear and power they hold is incredibly real. If you live in a communist nation, they watch every move and destroy your life if you say the wrong thing. I think unions are good, actually. Shh, dude, do you want to ruin your career? Don't say that out loud, people might hear. We must get rid of Taft-Hartley and end these union-busting practices that we can see clearly having happened to Amazon and other companies, while the average worker gets poorer and poorer, while their CEOs get to launch themselves into space and then, sadly, come back. This episode is brought to you by The Skeptical Buddha, The Tao of Science. My book, which is a thoughtful discourse on Eastern philosophy and how it helped birth ideas required for science and skepticism and the way it fell behind in the face of new evidence. This book discusses the long history of both philosophies as well as the tenets and variations within the varying sects, along with psychology and our own natural biases. It discusses how to counter our natural biases using science and the underlying concepts of meditation and mindfulness, a more complex understanding of how science operates than most of the public understands, and why it is the best tool we have to discover truth and reality, as well as philosophical ideas we might embrace as technology progresses. The material is packaged in a way that the average person can understand, with rich illustrations to draw the reader in and feel at peace. So as always, thank you all for watching this as a video or listening to this as a podcast, which I'm sure was completely uncontroversial to anyone, especially to the YouTube monetization team. So if you found this useful, please donate to my Patreon. Just a reminder that I'm Anubis2814 on YouTube, and I have almost 700 videos on my channel that I've made over the past 11 years on religion, science, psychology, and politics. Please go check them out, and if your site has the option, like, rate, review, and comment. A special thanks goes out to Kendall Copperberg, Mylon Mia, Ogrel, Elias Garcia Guevara, and Joe Taylor for their $10 or more Wapawet level donations. I'm always humbled by the fact that they find my work worth funding and worth driving me forward. Thank you all. Please consider donating to my work if you can, and thank you all for listening.